Hello, I'm Leanne. I'm a light worker and mother to 3 special girls. I strive to continue learning, growing, and to collect new skills. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master teacher, and an Akashic Records reader and healer. I am so excited to share what I've learned, what I'm going to learn, and the ups and downs of life. Thank you for joining me on my journey. Welcome to the Life of a Lightworker podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. And today I have a brand new tarot deck. And the most exciting thing is that I found it in Shoppers Drug Mart, which is just a regular drugstore that's in Canada. I don't know if it's all over Canada, but it's definitely in Alberta. They're all over the place. And it's a Hocus Pocus tarot deck. And that made me super excited. And not only did I just see a tarot deck, but when it scanned up, it was $7 less than what the box said. And that was really, really exciting for me because I sure do love a deal. I love to save, and I'm thrifty. The universe knows that. They know that. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card from this deck. Let me see what comes up. And just like a fun fact, when I pull a card, I don't usually get jump cards where they just like fly out. I shuffle it, and then I pull the deck, I fan the deck out, and there's a certain spot that I tend to always gravitate towards pulling. Sometimes I'm called to go somewhere else in the deck, but there's this one spot that always jumps out at me, and it's usually in the same area, and then so that's just how I do it. Everyone's different. You have to kind of find your own way where you like to do it. The card that I pulled is 2 of Candles. I pulled it in the upright, not reversed. I'm reading from the guidebook for today, just because it's a new deck, and I kind of want to hear how they word it. So, upright. Your heart is prepared to start a journey, though your path may yet be unknown. Now is the time to plan, dream, and discover. Whether with a dark spell book or a container of salt, there are many ways for you to plan for your journey ahead. That's pretty awesome. And I'm just going to look into the card and see if I see anything. Oh, so what I'm kind of seeing is that with every decision you make, I see two choices. You can go one way or the other way. Your path is in the middle. It doesn't always necessarily matter what decision you make, because they're both close to the path, and you can weave in and out of your path. You don't need to stay straight on your path. You can go in and out and weave around it. So you don't have to worry necessarily that whether that decision that you're making is the right one for you. In the end, it's not going to matter, because if you feel into yourself, you see what feels right in the moment. Don't think about if it's the right decision. Just go with what feels right inside of you, not what other people in the world think is right. And it will weave in and out of your path. You don't need to worry about being too close to the path or being too far away from the path. You will get to the path when it's meant to be. Until that point, you're going to weave in and out. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how you learn, and that's how you calibrate yourself towards getting to the path. All right. Let's put that away. That's just a fun new deck that I have. It's pretty exciting to me. So, I've been taking this week-long class with My Aligned Purpose. I've been working with them for a few months, and I really like working with them. And this one class is about cash flow and how to manage your business and more the logistics and the energy behind the foundation parts of your business. And I'm fairly new at business, and it's nice to get new ideas and just support and using other people's experience to help me along my journey so I don't have to figure everything out myself. So I find it very valuable. This one part of the class yesterday, they wanted everyone to think 5 years ago. You go 5 years back and you think of where you were in your life. So the idea is that you're thinking of your ideal client. And a lot of the time, they are who you were in the past, who you were, for example, 5 years ago. So you think about who you were and the place you were in your life, and then you can see the path of where you are today. It's easier to guide somebody who has a similar path to you than somebody else who is having a completely different path that you can't relate to, because being able to relate to people is important. So that was the kind of the idea behind this exercise. So what I wrote down when I was going back to all these questions. So the first one is, where did I live? Well, 5 years ago, I lived in the same place, but 5.5 years ago, I moved here from where I grew up. And it was a big adjustment, a big change. And also, 5 years ago, I had a 2-month-old. My third child was only 2 months old, and it was a really big transition. There was a lot of anxiety. There was a lot. It felt like I was kind of in a breaking point because I didn't know how to handle all the emotions in the house. But being in that point, it pushed me to get help for my oldest child, who was later diagnosed with ADHD, anxiety, and Tourette syndrome. So it helped push me to help her get help. So that is where I was at that point. And I was also at home half the time by myself because my husband worked away. So he was only home for 6 days, and then he was gone for 8 days and back and forth. So I felt very alone half the time. The second question was, how would I describe my current stage in life? Well, my current stage in life is I feel like I'm just figuring out my balance between my spiritual life, a balance between being a parent, a balance between being a spouse, and balance between friendships and all my other relationships. I am much further along the path of putting myself first and thinking about myself and how I play a role in each of the relationships and taking responsibility for that. And I'm far from perfect, I'm far from done, but I am much further along in my journey in that aspect. And I have obviously really stepped into my spiritual life and how it is so interwoven into all the other aspects of my life. I think that is the biggest change that has happened. And then the third question is, 5 years ago, what kept me up in the middle of the night? Anxiety kept me up. I was always anxious. I was always worried. I was always planning and planning and planning and planning. And it felt like if I planned for every possibility, then I couldn't be surprised. I couldn't be let down. And in the moment, I wouldn't have to think on my feet. I would have this plan that I could settle back into and work through it. But the plans hardly ever worked out. I was wasting so much time and energy planning, and I was so stressed out about this. And I was very anxious going into stores. It was overwhelming going places and talking to somebody. It gave me almost I got a panic attack, and I would have to recuperate in my car, and just it almost felt like I needed to cry after talking to somebody in the store. It was debilitating. And my children, they would have lots of temper tantrums in the stores. One would try to run away all the time. And that brought a lot of anxiety to anybody. And then when you add it on that you don't want people looking at you, me, because of the social anxiety, it was the perfect storm. I really, really hated taking my kids to the store. It really impacted my life huge amount, especially since my husband worked away half the time. I had to take them to the store, otherwise we couldn't eat. So that was a big part of what kept me up at night. I remember I would always wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go back to sleep. And looking back, I can realize that I was an empath. I was feeling everybody's emotions. So that's why I didn't want to go to the store, because I was so anxious. And then also I could almost kind of hear people's thoughts when they were staring at me. And I could feel all this judgment from my children's, the way they were acting out. And they were just feeling everybody's emotions too, because they're empathic. So it's just all these things just like mixed together and we were an anxiety storm. It was, it was not pleasant. And also I realized now, after doing the work with being a medium, that when a spirit is close to me, I feel really anxious. And now when I feel that way, I have to put up my boundaries again, talk to the spirit and say, I cannot talk to you. I'm not because my boundary is I don't talk to spirits unless I call them in, if I give them permission. So if it's a family member, I will talk to them and I'll be like, so if this is a family member, they're allowed to talk to me during specific times. If it's for a client or just somebody I pass, that I'm not in the session with at the moment, then I say to the spirit, you're not allowed to talk to me. I'm not going to talk to you unless it's during a session. So those are the boundaries I made, and I don't want to break them because that is how I want to live. I don't want them just popping in. So when I'd go to a store and there was a spirit close, I'd get anxiety. In my house, if there was a spirit close, I'd get anxiety, but I didn't realize why, and I didn't know how to stop it. So that was a big struggle for me. And then for the next question, it said, what did you really need help figuring out? Well, what I really needed help figuring out is how to get help for my kids, how to go through the system and advocate and support and push for them, because when you have a female child, it is harder to get them mental help. It is. Their symptoms can be a lot different than males, and because of that, it is so much harder to get them the help that they need and to get people to listen to you. So that was one thing I really needed to know, is that how hard I would have to work and push for this, to help them. Another thing I needed to figure out was my spirituality. Learn boundaries. Oh my goodness, the boundaries and the protection. The protection. Oh, I wish I had known that before, but if I hadn't, I wouldn't be where I am today. I needed to go through that. I understand that, but that's one thing I would like to tell people to do, is for the energetic protection, because I really feel it's so important, especially when you're an empath or have any sort of abilities. You need it. And, even if you don't really associate yourself as being an empath, it's a really good idea, because even if you're not collecting everybody's emotions, you're probably working with the emotions of the people around you that are close to you. So protection, super, super important. And then the next question says, how did you solve your problem and what led you to where you are today? So I've kind of talked about this a little bit already. What solved my problem was developing myself spiritually, leaning into myself, spending more time on myself, with myself, by myself, and putting myself at the forefront. Because when I put myself on the back burner, my body yelled for help. My anxiety was really, really bad. And then eventually it grew to arthritis. There were days where, during the peak part, every night, every day, every morning, I would roll out of bed and slowly just like walk like a robot to the shower to take a 20-minute really hot shower to get everything kind of moving and loose so that I could just get my kids ready for school, so that I could make their lunches. And even after that, I couldn't button buttons. I couldn't do French braids, which I love to do. And it really, really affected my life. I couldn't walk very far. I had to go to the school and park really close in order to pick up the kids and drop them off. And for the school pickup, I would have to come 45 minutes early and just park and sit in my car in order to get a close enough spot. Now that I can walk further, I can walk the 10 minutes, not even 5 minutes, and then go and pick them up just 5 minutes before they need to go. Like, it's super fast and easy because now I can walk a little bit further. But before, I couldn't, especially in the winter. It was really, really debilitating. So my body screamed for help. It was screaming. My hips were hurting, which started when I was pregnant with my first. Like, my body just was not happy. And through that, having all my pain, physical pain and mental pain, and dealing and working around all of the family mental health issues and neurodiversity, trying to accommodate and learn and just figure out how things are going to function for us, because we have to modify things. That whole process led me to a point where my mind was open, that I could accept things, that I was able, it was almost like I needed the light and I needed the hope, and I was willing to reach for it. I needed to be in that place in order to reach. And so I had to be pushed down. And then somebody said, my friend, she was talking about Reiki, and my ear just was like, what? Oh, this is interesting. This is cool. And I was just enthralled, and I wanted to learn about it. I was very curious. And some time went on. I didn't go into Reiki right away, but it definitely, my soul wanted me to go in that direction. I could tell. Looking back, I can tell. In the moment, I didn't. I was too much at a place of lack. I didn't want to spend the money to go on a class. And I didn't know where to take a class. It was overwhelming to look into it, so I just stopped. Because in the moment, I had to find a place that was really good and good value, and I had all these criteria that I needed to meet, which I really didn't, but my mind, that's what the anxiety was doing to me. So I ended up not pursuing Reiki at that moment. Later on, my friend had taken a Reiki class from somebody, and to me that was okay, I know this person's good, I'm going to go for them. So I did. I took a class with them, and my life changed. Overnight, it changed. I was more open. It's just like the switch. It was just like the ignition. It just turned my light on, and my soul was just following like, yes, this is the start. This is the first step on the path. This is it. And I didn't stop. Like, I started reading a lot of spiritual books. I started getting into tarot and oracle cards. I just loved everything about this kind of spiritual life. I was so curious. It was so much fun. Never in my life have I loved to read. I struggled with reading forever. And now I was reading a book every 3 days. I was just like going through them at this amazing rate because it was just fed my soul so much. And my eyes didn't hurt, which was strange. Normally my eyes hurt when I was reading, especially for that long, but they weren't. They felt amazing. And ever since then, my eyes have not hurt while reading, which I think is wonderful. I just love the way that spirit works. Okay, and then, so that was my biggest thing. Reiki is what led me to where I am today. It opened the gate, it opened the door, it changed my life. And I want to do that for other people. I think Reiki is accessible to everybody. I think everybody can do it. You don't need to have any special abilities or anything. You can just be an ordinary person. Well, we're all ordinary people, really. You can just be anybody, and you can learn Reiki. And when you first learn it, you learn it for yourself and your family members and friends, and you can give the energy to people. And then the next level is level 2, and that's when you increase the flow of energy. So you start being able to go through the Reiki treatments a lot faster, and you learn the symbols so that it's more efficient, and you can also do Reiki distance-wise. You can send it across the room, you can send it across the world. You start to understand that energy has no bounds. And then after you do the level 2, if you choose, you can go on and do the masters, which is what teaches you to teach other people Reiki. And then you can continue this on to other people, and it's just an endless cycle, an endless flow. And that's what I love about Reiki, is that it's just increasing the vibration of everybody. And everybody opening up and learning who they are, connecting to their own souls. That's my favorite thing. That's the thing that lights me up the most, is people connecting to their own souls. And I found that Reiki really helped me connect to my soul. It opened me up. And that's what I want to do to other people. That is one of the things that sparks joy in me and makes my heart sing. And that's one of the reasons why I am starting to teach Reiki. I'm going to be doing an online Reiki class. I recorded videos, and I have everything written out, and I have some supplementary resources, and I want people to do it at their own pace. If they are kind of like me and just binge it and go through it fast, then you can do it all in a day and then book your attunement and have Reiki and be able to do Reiki. Or if you like to break it up, or if you like to watch things multiple times, you can do that too. You can go over it for as long as you want. You could take months to do it if you want. There's no set timeline. People can do it at their own pace. And then all you have to do is book a 30-minute session with me to get your attunement and ask some questions. It's not... I feel that if that's how I would have wanted it. That's how I feel would have fit me best when I was learning Reiki, when I was first in that stage. This is the kind of class that I would have wanted, which is why I made it for other people. So I hope you check it out. If you've been interested in Reiki, I hope you learn about it. I would love for you to take the class. I would love to meet you. And if not, that's fine too. You are on the stage of your journey that is right for you. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer them for you. I would love to support you. You can follow me on Instagram and message me. It's Spruce Energy Healing. Or my website is www.spruceenergyhealing.com. And if you want, you can email me, spruceenergyhealing@gmail.com. So thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.